Hello and welcome back. In this episode, we're going to have a go at making a few curved passages, like this one that you can see here. And, as is usual, you can find a link to the PDF file for these down in the description. So, let's make a start. Okay then, so if you take a look at the PDF file, you'll see that if you just want to make standard passages that are 2 inches wide, then all you'll need to do is match the relevant floor pattern to the corresponding wall pieces. So, in this example, everything that's marked with a green square. Then we'll just need to glue the 2 wall pieces to some double corrugated cardboard as usual, and then start cutting those out. And as you just saw, cutting the ends is pretty straightforward, but for the curved sides we are going to need to be a bit more careful. So I'm just doing this in a similar fashion to the walls for the circular rooms, which just means taking your time and making lots of little shallow cuts rather than trying to hack your way through in one go. As an example, my first cut didn't do much more than cut through the printout and maybe also scored the top of the card. Then, as I say, I'll just go over that again and again until I eventually cut my way through. It does take a while, and you are going to need a really sharp blade in order to get a clean cut, but yeah. Here I am finishing off the second side, and when we're done, we should be left with this kind of thing. And we will of course need to do the same thing with the other curved wall as well. Right then, next we'll glue the relevant floor texture to some more of the same card, and once that's dry, we'll cut both of the straight ends to size. There you go. Then all we'll need to do is glue the walls into place, just using a regular glue stick, like you can see me doing here. And we'll also need to make sure that the ends of the walls are flush with the ends of the tile. And we can then put something heavy on top so that it dries nice and flat. Okay, so while that's drying, I'll just quickly explain this other texture. So the idea here is to have a piece that we can customise a little bit. For example, we can use it to make more 2-inch wide passages, like the one we just made. Or we can use some of the different wall sections to make wider or narrower passages, like this one here. And there's also the option to have an exit halfway along one of the curved walls as well. But for my own piece, I'm going to lay it out something like this. Basically, a 2-inch wide passage with that extra exit that I just mentioned. So, once again, we'll start off by trimming the straight edges of the tile to size, like so. And then stick the wall pieces into place. As I say, it's the exact same process as before, except that with this piece we have a few different options to play around with. Anyway, once that's done, we can put something heavy on top and leave that to dry. Okay then, so while I was doing that, the first piece should have fully dried. So all we're going to do now is cut the floor tile to size, using the edge of the wall as a guide. And once again, just take your time, making several passes with a sharp or a new blade, and just keep at it until you've cut all the way through. And there you go, there's the one side of the tile finished. So I'll just go ahead and do the other side as well, though I will say that the smaller the inside curve, the more difficult it is to cut out, so that's something you might like to be aware of. Anyway, when we're done, we should be left with a curved passage that looks something like this, which we can then connect to any of the other tiles that we've already made. So yeah, that's it for another episode. As you can see in the picture, by kind of curving the grid, it should allow for a better placement of models when they're making their way down the passage side by side. It's still not a perfect solution, but it should work well enough. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to join the Patreon, the Discord server, the Facebook page or whatever. There's links to all that nonsense down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.